What's going on, guys? Graham here again. I'm out here with Norman out here in Chantilly, Virginia. Another one of our customers who was gracious enough to set some time aside and give you guys an idea about what it's like to work with us. So first, I do want to thank you for that, setting aside the time for us. I just want to ask you a couple questions, and we just kind of jump right into it and give the people a little bit of an idea. Um, what initially made you decide to choose HD Exteriors to build your deck out back?
Okay, well, we had an existing deck. It was time for it to be replaced. I looked on Angie's List, and HD Exteriors had a good rating on Angie's List, which means a lot to me. So we've had other contractors from Angie's List that have worked out great. So that's was my initial contact. And you guys sent somebody out. It was last December, and we really liked what the guy had to say about the design, how he was going to lay things out. Now, our previous deck was sort of football shaped because the shape was dictated by the way they built the decks.
Right, right.
And they recommended a more squarish shape because it's easier to build.
On it and everything.
Right.
Yeah, it gets you a little extra space.
Yeah, so we're really happy with the way, we have more space.
Fantastic.
It
And
looks
during
very nice.
during the build process, I mean, we did everything we said we would do. Cleaned up the trash, kept your yard looking nice, kind of as it was, our own
And,
house.
there was, as far as the trash is concerned, I was impressed that instead of bringing in a dumpster, as a lot of people do, the guys piled the stuff up, and then they carted it all away in their van, and it took a couple of loads.
Yep.
But I thought that was very efficient use of, the money. Instead of spending $400 or $500 on having a dumpster, they took it all away. Now I don't know what happened to it.
Well, it is exactly that, trying to be as efficient with cost as we can, right? And every now and then, sometimes there's no choice but to order a dumpster. But when we can stay away from it, we definitely do. And it saves you a little bit of money, saves us a little bit as well, right? So I'm glad to hear that the yard kept nice, and we picked up all the nails and everything after, and you didn't have any problems with that.
They moved all of our furniture down on the lawn off the old deck, and then put it all back up here on the new one. So that was much appreciated.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Fantastic. And then, so process was well. The initial design process you liked. You liked the outcome, the finished product. You actually went with the mineral-based decking,
Right.
which is a newer product that's kind of surfaced the market over the last several years, and it's got that extra heat resistance and that more traction control, so it's not as slippery when it's wet. Have you noticed that it's not slippery when it's wet
Yeah.
out here?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. And I know you got some nice furniture out here too. I'm glad that you decorated it well. Now, I guess one of the last two questions I'll ask you, this is probably one of the most important questions, is, now that everything's said and done and the project's finished, if you had to recommend a company to a friend or a family, would HD Exteriors be the company that you recommend?
Absolutely. I was really happy with the whole process, the design, and the implementation. And as I said earlier, one of the things I really appreciated was that the people showed up every day when they could possibly do anything, and made continuous progress on everything. So it came out really well.
I'm glad.
They had a good crew. The same guys showed up every day.
Yep,
And
we
they
did,
worked
started your job and worked until we finished your
Yeah.
job, right? Yeah. Again, that is a question I get asked often too, is, are the guys going to be here every day? And as long as there's no rain delays or any, other issues we can't attain for, we're absolutely, like, we work to yours, finish yours, and then move on to the next. It's not a hopping between different projects kind of situation, which is obviously what some people run into. One of the things I always ask, I love asking everybody when we're all finished with everything, what's your favorite part about the deck altogether?
Well, I really like the composite material. And another factor, I was at a friend's house the other day. They have a Trex deck, and there's a lot of screws going through the surface. This one has all hidden fasteners, so you have nothing going through the surface, no hot spots if you're walking around on your bare feet. So it's really nice. I'm very happy with the materials and the way the railing came out and all that, so it looks great.
Fantastic, fantastic. I'm glad that you did bring up the hidden fasteners because that is a key factor for sure, is making sure that we're not drilling through the boards when we don't have to. And of course, anytime we do drill in through a board, making sure we cap it with a Cortex plug so that there aren't any, screw heads showing.
Well, and then there was another thing that surprised me, and that is they wrapped the top of all the support beams with a wrought blocks material, plastic material.
Absolutely.
That wasn't in the contract or anything like that. So I asked the building inspector, is that required by code? And he said, no, that's just something that some people do because it's supposed to, it's kind of glued on,
Yeah.
and it's supposed to make the deck and the framing last longer. So
Well,
I
it
was
absolutely, yeah, and that's to keep it from outlasting, like we wouldn't want the composite to outlast the wood frame, and that is a pain point. And so wrapping it at its where it rots away with that rot block material. I'm glad that you noticed that during the build because it's something you would have had to seen while we were building the project.
one of the other things, the building inspector, I noticed your guys hopped right around when he was here, trying to make him happy with everything.
Yep.
He did a quick inspection and was happy with everything. And then later on, he came back to do the final inspection, and he said, I shouldn't tell you this, but those guys do a really good job. So,
Yeah.
you probably don't want that to get back to the building department, but he was impressed too.
I'm glad.
And he'd been in the business for quite a while building decks and stuff, so before he was an inspector. So.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times they see that our names on the project, and they're in and out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, they check everything, but they've checked thousands of our decks at this point, throughout the different counties, and I'm glad that the inspector had good things to say about us.
Yeah.
That always means a lot because those guys are they're seeing all of it, right? Inspecting all kinds of projects from all different types of contractors. But I mean, I'm glad to hear that. It looks like a nice place to gather. I'm glad that you've got the furniture set up. Everything looks nice out here. I love the colors that you went with. But other than that, I mean, those are the questions, and just like I said, give an idea, to other people about what it's like to work with us. Appreciate you setting the time aside,
Sure.
Norman. Call us if you ever have any warranty issues or anything that arises down the road. We're always going to be here for you. Remember, you've got warranties on all of this stuff that we've installed. Other than that, I'm going to go sign the video off. Thanks again, Norman. Appreciate your time.
My
Guys,
pleasure.
shoot us a call if you need anything. Let's build together.